Hi everyone, Radhe Radhe. In this video, we're going to be doing chapter 8, verse 6. Here, Bhagwan Shri Krishna is continuing to talk about how important it is to think of him at the time of death and how we can be liberated if we think of him at the time of death. It's a very simple verse. The explanations of both the commentaries are pretty good, pretty simple, and easy to understand and straightforward. Okay, so let's sing this verse together. यं यं वापि स्मरन् भावं त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरं तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भावभावितः. Very poetic. Okay. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, Kaunteya, that state he will attain without fail. Okay, so if we're thinking of Krishna, we'll attain Krishna. If we're thinking of a deer, which is the example that both of them give here, we will attain the body of a deer. Okay, so let's do word by word. Yum yum. It's so poetic, this verse. Yum yum, whatever at all, smaran, remembering. Bhavam, nature, tyajati, gives up at the end. So whatever nature, whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, when you quit your body at the end, kalevaram, this body, when you quit the body at the end, whatever you remember, tam tam, similar, yum yum and tam tam. Similarly, that Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, always that state of being, remembering that state of being that you were remembering, you will get. Always, sada, always you will get that. Okay, so the story here is Maharaj Bharat. This is the story that both of them have given. Swami Mukundananda has explained it a little bit more, but it's the same thing. So Maharaj Bharat, basically, okay, so there are two aspects here. One is that whatever you remember at the time of death is not something that you can just choose to remember at the time of death. You cannot just say, okay, all my life I'm going to do this material, I'm going to follow this material thing, and at the time of death I'll remember that. Because Swami Mukundananda explained in one of the previous verses that the pain that we feel at the time of death is like 2000 scorpions stinging you. So at that time you can't make yourself think about something. At that time you're going to think about whatever you've practiced, whatever, from my understanding, whatever the subtle body, the subconscious mind, the mind, whatever it's used to thinking about all the time, that's what it will think about at the time of death. So it's not that you can just live your life doing whatever, and at the time of death think. No, you have to practice and practice and practice and practice and practice thinking about Krishna. And of course, according to Prabhupada, it's chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Practice chanting that and practice just thinking about Krishna all the time. So then at the time of death, then we will be much more likely, will be set up for success in thinking about Krishna. So, okay. So the King Bharat story, I'm going to switch to Swami Mukundananda's here. So King Bharat, he had renounced his kingdom and to pursue God realization, self-realization, God realization, notice the difference, to pursue God realization. And there was this deer that he saw that was in the middle of the river, and she was giving birth in the middle of the river, and she jumped into a nearby river. She was pregnant, escaping an attacking tiger. But the baby was born there in the water, but she couldn't save the baby deer, so she just ran to the other side. She just swam to the other side. And then King Bharat felt sorry for the deer, for the baby. So he brought the baby deer to his house, and then he took care of it and he raised it. But then at the time of death, he thought of that deer, the baby deer, because he was just so attached to that baby deer. So in the next life, because he'd done so much renunciation and he was such an ascetic, that the next life he was born in a deer body, but he remembered all of his thing. So then, because he lived, like, he decided to live a very pious life, so he lived near saints and sages and things like that. So then the next birth, he was again given a human birth, but he remembered all of that, so he made sure that he did not get attached to things afterwards. So at the time of death, he thought of a deer and he became a deer. That is the story. So that is the lesson for us, that we should practice so much thinking of Krishna all the time. Okay, so there's one more thing. I was listening to this lecture on, I'm doing chapter 3, right, as a like really learning, deep diving into chapter 3. So I was listening to a lecture from an ISKCON preacher. I think it was Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj or something like that. I'm not sure, but it was very, very good. So what he was saying is that the ultimate goal, and it makes sense. 317 also says that. I can show you here. I have it open. Those who rejoice in the self and who are illumined and fully satisfied in the self, for them there is no duty. So he was explaining this concept, kind of. I mean, not this verse, it was 3:5 that I picked up the lecture from. But he was explaining the concept of once you get to this place. Okay, so we think, like I think, it was a bit of a shock for me, but it all ties in together, So I'm explaining it. It was a bit of a shock because I realized that when we are helping, when we're doing karma, we are helping people, right? That is, karma usually means we're doing something for the good of society, whatever that may be. Women would be raising kids and, helping them become Krishna conscious, and men would be, bringing resources for the women and children and protecting, providing all of that. Like traditionally, that's the thing that we do. We improve our lives in the material world so that we can raise Krishna conscious children, or so that we can preach, or we can help others become Krishna conscious, and like all of that. So we're going down that road where we're doing something to help people. But at some point, the most important thing that we can do literally with our lives, I don't know why it was such a shock, because I thought I should know this and I would have known this, but it's like to serve Krishna and to please Krishna, what we can do is just chant. So there are people, Kaviraj Goswami something, I don't know, who used to chant, I don't know, 190 rounds a day, which is a huge amount. They basically all day long continuously like nirantar, just constantly chanting. So the shock was that, yes, the most important thing we can do is to please Krishna, and the way to please Krishna can be just as simple as just chanting all day long. That is yagya. It's called yagya, sankirtan yagya. So I've known all of this, but it still came like, it was like, okay, we don't need to do anything else other than please Krishna. And that is the ultimate perfection. So those who rejoice in self, who are illumined in self, for them there is no duty. This is what I'm understanding of it is. There are 3 different Madhyadhikari, something and something. Madhyadhikari is the middle, and then so the highest, so Madhyadhikari are the people who do their duties, and then the highest ones just are renounced. And yeah, this whole thing is just, it's getting deeper understanding into me, which is amazing. I hope it's getting deeper understanding into you as well. So Prabhupada was the highest level, and but he acted like people. There were some people who were at the, like Prabhupada's guru also, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was also at the highest level, but he also came to the Madhyadhikari thing. Like he took on the role of the Madhyadhikari, because then he wanted to preach and he wanted to explain to others, to everyone, and he wanted to help people become Krishna conscious. So he did not have duties, he did not have to do duties, but he did it for our sakes. Both of them, they did it for our sakes. So they were in the highest level, and they came to Madhyadhikari level, the middle level. I'll find out and I'll speak about it, hopefully, if I remember. Okay, so that's it for this video. We'll do chapter 8, verse 7 in the next video. Wish you a day filled with spiritual growth. Radhe Radhe.